Today I'm really excited to show all of you a nice hearty version of a Bolognese sauce. Let's get started. Now the first thought that might come to your mind when you hear a Bolognese sauce is Bolognese just a fancy word for a meat sauce? Well, technically yeah and technically no. So Bolognese comes from the Bologna region of Italy, and traditionally Bolognese sauce is made of something called sofritto, which is a combination of onions, celery, carrots, tomatoes, and of course the meat. Now what separates a Bolognese sauce from a ragu is that Bolognese sauce is made usually with white wine and a minimal amount of tomatoes, while a ragu is actually made with red wine with lots of tomatoes. Today we're doing the best of both worlds because I love tomatoes and I love what they do to any sauce. So we'll be using lots of tomatoes and a white wine, and it's going to be a delicious sauce at the end of it. We're also going to be adding some eggplant and zucchini into this sauce, so it's great for anybody out there who does not like to see their vegetables when they eat it, just like me. I'm using inspirations from the Essentials of Italian Cooking by Marcella. So if you read anywhere to use beef stock in your Bolognese sauce, you can refer them to that book, you can refer them to Marcella. So first we'll start by meticulously cutting each vegetable into a fine dice. I recommend you take the time to do that chopping rather than putting all the veggies in a food processor and giving it a quick whiz. So once it's all chopped up, heat up your butter in a large pot and let that melt. Then add in your celery, carrots and onions and let that sweat out until these vegetables start to soften and you have a sweet aroma. Then once they have softened, add in your zucchini and eggplant. We're adding these later because they are more watery, so they will cook a bit faster than the hotter root vegetables. Next, once you start seeing the zucchini and the eggplant have started to soften and releasing some of that water, then add in your meat. So what meat should you use in a traditional Bolognese? While some regions in Italy use beef primarily, some regions also do beef and pork, or maybe just pork. Some even put pancetta and bacon into that sauce. So do what you feel, use what you're comfortable with, and then add it all into your veggies. You want to continuously break down that meat as you're stirring it. At the end of it, you don't want any lumps of meat to be left, so grab your wooden spoon and pound away and break up any lumps that you can see. As soon as you notice that the meat is no longer pink, add in your milk. Traditionally, you'll use whole milk, but you can use 2% or 1% as well. Stay away from skim. Add in some freshly grated nutmeg as well and give it all a good mix. Now, just gently boil this until all the milk has evaporated away. Now, as soon as the milk has evaporated, add in your wine. And again, we'll bring it up to a simmer and let that reduce until that wine has evaporated away. As we are boiling and evaporating these liquids, you'll start to notice how juicy and tender that meat is looking. Now while that wine is evaporating, I want you to take your can of San Marzano tomatoes and then put them in a large bowl. Then with your hands just crush it until you have some nice large chunks in that sauce. Don't worry if it's not all completely pureed. I want you to do it with your hands so it is rustic, so that it is uneven. That's going to add some nice textures and a nice surprise while you're eating the sauce when you find that pulp of tomato. Add that all into your pot and then also add in some passata. Now give this all a quick mix, season with a bit of salt, and then cook it until the sauce has reduced about by half. What you want to look for are nice, lazy, slow bubbles coming up from under that pot, and you want to wait until that sauce has started to release some of the natural oils along the sides of that pot. Let this simmer for at least 1.5 to 2 hours, and you can go all the way up to 5 to 6 hours by just gently simmering this. Taste this at every single stage and adjust the seasoning as required. Don't add too much salt at the beginning, because as we reduce it, the seasoning is going to get more concentrated. So season at every stage a little bit at a time. And when you're close to being done, you'll notice the texture is just like this. A nice, thick, rich, meaty sauce, which is full of tomatoes, full of flavors, full of veggies. All the veggies, the milk, the meat, the wine just comes at you in one beautiful flow, one beautiful, unique flavor. And you're gonna love this sauce with everything, literally everything. You can have pizza bagels with like meat sauce. You can have a nice meaty lasagna. Bake it with some macaroni or just top it on your favorite pasta, and this will be good for days. In fact, I'm making a large pot of it right back there because it was so tasty. I had to make it again, and I'm just gonna take this and freeze it so that whenever my heart desires a nice meat sauce, it is ready for me. And that's what's great about putting all this effort, all this work into a nice hearty meat sauce. You just portion it out, and whenever you need it, it's there for you. So stay tuned on this channel to see how to make a great meaty lasagna. And if you want to see what to do with your leftover meat sauce after you've enjoyed your lasagna, stay tuned for the baked macaroni version as well. If you want more videos just like this one, be sure to hit subscribe, hit that bell icon, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye guys.